Welcome to HFY Stories. If you're ready for jaw-dropping stories and a universe full of excitement, hit that subscribe button like it's the big red button in a space opera. Give us a like if you're feeling that interstellar vibe and comment below to join the conversation. The Galactic Summit. The Galactic Summit was an event like no other. It was held every decade on a massive space station known as the Zenith Star. The station floated in the neutral zone, far from any homeworld, surrounded by a vast expanse of stars. Inside the Zenith Star, representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered. There were tall, slender aliens with translucent skin, others with multiple arms and eyes, and some who looked like they were made of living stone. The summit was a symbol of peace and cooperation, where all species could discuss their differences and find ways to work together. Ambassador Zathor from the Xenarian Empire stood at the edge of the Grand Hall, observing the crowd. The Xenarians were known for their advanced technology and peaceful ways. Zathor, with his silver skin and sharp blue eyes, was a respected figure. His calm nature and wisdom had made him a well-known diplomat. He had attended many summits, but this one was different. This time, there were humans. Zathor had never met a human before. He had heard stories, of course. Some said they were friendly and curious, always eager to learn and explore. Others described them as fierce warriors, quick to anger, and always ready for a fight. Zathor wasn't sure what to believe. As he watched the humans across the room, he felt a mixture of curiosity and caution. The humans were easy to spot. They stood taller than most species and had a confident air about them. They were dressed in simple uniforms, with a flag stitched on their sleeves. Zathor recognized it as the flag of the United Earth Federation, the organization representing all humans in the galaxy. At the center of the human group was Admiral Smith, the leader of the human delegation. Smith was a middle-aged man with short brown hair, a strong jawline, and eyes that seemed to take in everything around him. He had a friendly smile, but there was a sharpness in his gaze that hinted at his military background. Zathor decided it was time to introduce himself. He walked across the hall, his steps quiet on the polished floor. As he approached, Admiral Smith noticed him and turned, extending a hand. "Ambassador Zathor, I presume," Smith said, his voice warm and welcoming. Zathor nodded and took the offered hand, shaking it in the human style. "Yes, Admiral Smith. It's a pleasure to meet you. Welcome to the Galactic Summit." Smith smiled. "Thank you, Ambassador. It's an honor to be here. We've heard a lot about the Xenarian Empire and its commitment to peace." Zathor felt a sense of relief. The Admiral's words and demeanor were friendly, putting him at ease. "And we have heard much about humanity," Zathor replied. "You are a young species, yet you have accomplished so much. Your journey into the stars is impressive." Smith chuckled. "We've been busy, that's for sure. Space is a big place, and there's so much to see and learn. But we're not just explorers. We believe in building strong relationships with our neighbors." Zathor nodded. "That is good to hear. The galaxy is vast, and we all have much to gain from cooperation." As they spoke, other alien ambassadors joined them, forming a small circle. Zathor noticed how easily Smith engaged with each one, showing interest in their cultures and histories. The conversation flowed smoothly, touching on various topics like trade, science, and exploration. The humans, it seemed, were eager to make allies and learn from other species. Eventually, the conversation turned to the topic of defense. One of the ambassadors, a tall alien with green scales named Varric, asked about the human military. "I have heard that your fleet is quite large," Admiral Smith, Varric said. "Is that true?" Smith's smile didn't waver. "We do have a sizable fleet," he admitted. "But our goal is to protect, not to intimidate. Our fleet ensures the safety of our people and our allies. We believe that a strong defense is the best way to maintain peace." Zathor listened carefully. He had seen fleets before, ships with weapons designed to destroy. But something in Smith's tone made him wonder just how powerful the human fleet really was. The humans were friendly, but Zathor sensed a quiet strength beneath their words. "Perhaps you would like to see our fleet?" Smith offered, his eyes twinkling with a hint of pride. "We have several ships stationed nearby. I would be honored to give you a tour of our flagship, the U.S. Invincible." The offer surprised Zathor. He hesitated for a moment, considering. Accepting the invitation would give him valuable insight into human capabilities. But it also meant stepping onto a human warship, a place where he would be at their mercy. Finally, Zathor nodded. "I would be honored, Admiral. A tour would indeed be enlightening." Smith's smile widened. "Excellent. We can arrange the tour for tomorrow. I think you'll find it quite interesting." As the conversation continued, Zathor couldn't shake the feeling of anticipation. The humans were an enigma, full of surprises. He was curious to see what their fleet looked like, to understand the true nature of humanity. The summit was just beginning, but Zathor sensed that the days ahead would be full of revelations. The night ended with a grand banquet, where food and music from various cultures filled the air. Zathor mingled with other ambassadors, but his mind kept drifting back to the human fleet. What would he see? What secrets did the humans hold? As he looked up at the stars through the station's transparent dome, Zathor felt a mix of excitement and unease. The galaxy was changing, and he was about to see a glimpse of its future. A tour of the human flagship. The next day, Ambassador Zathor found himself standing in a shuttle bay, preparing to board a human transport ship. The bay was bustling with activity as different species went about their business. Zathor's thoughts were focused on the upcoming tour of the U.S. Invincible, the human flagship. He had accepted Admiral Smith's invitation out of curiosity, but now a sense of nervousness crept into his mind. Humans were still a mystery to him, and he wasn't sure what to expect. The human shuttle was sleek and efficient, designed for speed and maneuverability. Zathor stepped inside, greeted by a human pilot who gave him a friendly nod. "Welcome aboard, Ambassador," the pilot said. "Please, make yourself comfortable. The journey to the U.S. Invincible will only take a few minutes." Zathor nodded and took a seat, strapping himself in as the shuttle's engines hummed to life. Through the window, he could see the stars and the massive silhouette of the Zenith Star space station. The shuttle lifted off smoothly, gliding away from the station and heading towards the distant shape of the human fleet. As the shuttle approached the fleet, Zathor could see the ships more clearly. There were dozens of them, each one different in size and design. The flagship, U.S. Invincible, was the largest of them all. It was a formidable sight, its dark hull bristling with weapons and defense systems. The ship looked like it could take on any threat in the galaxy and emerge victorious. The shuttle docked with the U.S. Invincible, and Zathor was escorted onto the ship by a pair of human officers. The corridors of the flagship were wide and well lit, filled with human crew members going about their duties. Zathor could feel the hum of the ship's engines beneath his feet, a constant reminder of the power that lay within its metal walls. Admiral Smith was waiting for Zathor on the bridge. He greeted the ambassador with a smile. "Welcome to the U.S. Invincible, Ambassador Zathor. I hope your journey was pleasant." Zathor nodded, his eyes taking in the bridge's surroundings. It was a spacious room, filled with advanced technology and large screens displaying various data. Human officers were at their stations, monitoring the ship's systems and the space around them. "Thank you, Admiral. Your ship is very impressive," Zathor said, trying to hide his awe. The bridge was unlike anything he had seen before, a blend of human ingenuity and military precision. Smith gestured for Zathor to join him at the main viewing screen. "I'm glad you think so, Ambassador. The U.S. Invincible is one of our finest ships, equipped with the latest technology. We take great pride in our fleet." Zathor stepped closer to the screen, which showed a live feed of the space outside. The human fleet was spread out in a defensive formation, ready to respond to any threat. Zatha could see smaller ships patrolling around the larger ones, their engines glowing with blue light. "What is the purpose of such a large fleet, Admiral?" Zatha asked, genuinely curious. "You mentioned peace and defense, but this seems more like a force designed for war." Smith nodded thoughtfully. "That's a fair observation, Ambassador. Our fleet is indeed capable of waging war if necessary, but its primary purpose is to deter any potential aggressors. We believe that a show of strength can prevent conflict. If others see our capabilities, they might think twice before starting a fight." Zatho considered this for a moment. "So, it is a means of maintaining peace through strength." "Exactly," Smith agreed. "Humans have learned from our history. We've seen what happens when we are unprepared for threats. Our fleet is our way of saying, we are ready to protect our own, and we are ready to defend our allies." Zatho couldn't help but feel a growing respect for the humans. They were prepared to defend themselves, but they were also open to cooperation and peace. It was a balance that many species struggled to find. Smith led Zatho on a tour of the ship, showing him various sections. They visited the engineering bay, where massive reactors powered the ship. Human engineers worked with precision, ensuring everything ran smoothly. Zatho was impressed by the efficiency and the advanced technology. Next, they went to the armory, where rows of weapons were neatly stored. Zatho saw handheld blasters, rifles, and even heavy artillery. "These are just in case we need them," Smith explained. "We prefer to avoid conflict, but if it comes to that, we are ready." Zatho nodded, understanding the necessity. As they continued the tour, they arrived at the medical bay. Doctors and nurses moved about, tending to patients and preparing for emergencies. The medical bay was equipped with cutting-edge technology, capable of treating almost any injury or illness. "We value every life, Ambassador," Smith said as they walked through the bay. "Our medical facilities are some of the best in the galaxy. We take care of our people, and we are always ready to help others in need." The final stop was the hangar bay, where several smaller fighter ships were stationed. Zatho watched as pilots performed drills, their movements precise and coordinated. The humans were clearly well-trained, prepared for any situation. As the tour concluded, Zatho felt a mixture of emotions. He was impressed by the human fleet's power and preparedness, but he was also touched by their dedication to peace and cooperation. Humans were a species full of surprises, and Zatho realized there was much more to them than he had first thought. Back on the bridge, Zatho turned to Admiral Smith. "Thank you for this tour, Admiral. It has been enlightening. I can see now why your fleet is so respected." Smith smiled, a hint of pride in his eyes. "I'm glad you see it that way, Ambassador. Our goal is to build a better future, for humans and for all our allies. Together, we can achieve great things." Zatho nodded, feeling a sense of hope. The galaxy was a vast and dangerous place, but with allies like the humans, there was a chance for a brighter future. As he prepared to leave the ship, Zatho knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in galactic relations. The human fleet unveiled. Ambassador Zatho's mind was still processing all he had seen on the US Invincible. The ship was a marvel of human engineering and military might. As he stood in the observation deck, gazing at the stars, he couldn't help but think about the purpose behind such power. The humans seemed so friendly, yet they had built a fleet that could easily dominate most of the known galaxy. His thoughts were interrupted by the soft chime of the intercom. "Ambassador Zatho, please report to the main conference room. Admiral Smith is waiting for you," a calm voice announced. Zatho straightened his robes, took a deep breath, and headed to the conference room. The door slid open, revealing Admiral Smith standing by a large hollow table. Around the table, various officers, both human and alien, were busy reviewing data. The room was alive with the hum of activity, the sound of fingers tapping on consoles, and quiet conversations. "Ah, Ambassador Zathor, just in time," Admiral Smith greeted him with a smile. "We are about to start a demonstration of our fleet's capabilities. I thought you might like to observe." Zathor nodded, his curiosity piqued. "A demonstration? What will we be seeing, Admiral?" Smith gestured to the holotable. A three-dimensional map of the area around the U.S. Invincible appeared, showing the positions of the human fleet and various waypoints. "We're going to run a simulation to show you how our fleet operates in different scenarios. You'll see our tactics, coordination, and the effectiveness of our ships." As Zathor took his place by the table, the lights dimmed, and the map shifted to show a larger section of space. He could see the human fleet, represented by blue icons, and a group of red icons symbolizing potential threats. The first scenario was a standard defensive formation. The human ships moved into position, forming a protective barrier around the flagship. Smaller ships patrolled the perimeter, while larger vessels stood ready to engage any intruders. Zathor watched in awe as the fleet moved with precision, every ship in perfect sync with the others. "This is our basic defensive posture," Admiral Smith explained. "It allows us to protect our assets while keeping an eye on the surrounding area. Our ships are equipped with advanced sensors, enabling us to detect threats before they get too close." Zathor was impressed. The coordination and discipline of the human fleet were remarkable. They were like a well-oiled machine, each part working in harmony with the rest. The next scenario was more aggressive. The fleet broke formation, with smaller ships darting forward to engage the red icons. The larger ships followed, providing support with heavy weapons fire. Zathor could see the human ships working together to overwhelm their enemies, using a combination of speed and firepower. "This is our offensive strategy," Smith said. "When we need to take the fight to the enemy, we rely on our speed and coordination. Our ships are designed to work together, covering each other and maximizing their strengths." Zathor watched as the simulation played out. The human ships moved like predators, striking quickly and decisively. The red icons were soon wiped from the map, leaving the blue icons victorious. The final scenario was a full-scale battle. The map expanded to show a massive fleet of red icons, representing a powerful enemy force. The human fleet was outnumbered, but they didn't hesitate. The ships formed into attack groups, each one focusing on a different part of the enemy fleet. Zathor could feel the tension in the room as the simulation began. The human ships moved with precision, dodging enemy fire and returning with devastating attacks. The larger ships unleashed volleys of missiles, while the smaller ships weaved in and out, targeting weak points in the enemy's defenses. The battle was intense, with ships on both sides taking damage. But the human fleet's tactics and coordination began to turn the tide. One by one, the red icons disappeared, until only the blue icons remained. When the simulation ended, the room was silent. Zathor felt a sense of awe and respect for the humans. They had shown him their strength, not to intimidate, but to demonstrate their readiness to defend and protect. Their fleet was not just a weapon, but a shield for their people and allies. Admiral Smith turned to Zathor, a serious expression on his face. "This is what we are capable of, Ambassador. We do not seek war, but we are prepared for it. Our fleet is a message to the galaxy. We will stand up for ourselves, and we will stand up for our friends." Zathor nodded slowly, understanding the message. The humans were not aggressors, but they were not to be underestimated. They had the power to defend their place in the galaxy, and they were willing to use it if necessary. "I see now, Admiral," Zathor said quietly. "Your fleet is a symbol of strength and peace. It is a reminder that the galaxy is safer when we work together, when we are prepared to defend what we value." Smith smiled, his eyes meeting Zathor's. "Exactly, Ambassador. We believe in peace, but we know that peace must be defended. Our fleet is our commitment to that defense, to ensuring that the future is secure for all of us. As the lights came back up, Zathel felt a renewed sense of hope. The humans were not just allies. They were guardians of peace, ready to stand against any threat. With such allies, the galaxy had a chance to thrive, to grow, and to reach new heights. Zathel left the conference room, his mind buzzing with thoughts. He had seen the power of the human fleet, and he knew that this was just the beginning. The future was full of possibilities, and with humans by their side, the galaxy was ready to face whatever came next. A moment of panic. Ambassador Zathel had been on the US Invincible for a few days now. He had witnessed the impressive capabilities of the human fleet and had engaged in several meetings with Admiral Smith and his staff. Everything seemed to be going smoothly until one fateful afternoon. The ship's alarm system suddenly blared, piercing through the usual hum of activity. Zathel, who had been in the observation deck enjoying the view of the stars, was jolted out of his thoughts. He looked around in confusion as the red lights of the emergency alarm flashed. "What's happening?" Zathel asked a nearby crew member who was rushing past. The crew member, her face a mix of concentration and worry, did not have time to answer. "Please follow the evacuation procedures," she called over her shoulder. Zathel's heart raced. He had seen simulations of battle and defense, but he had never experienced an actual emergency. He followed the crew member's advice, heading towards the nearest evacuation area. As he moved through the corridors, he could hear the sounds of chaos, footsteps pounding, voices shouting instructions, and the clanging of metal. The usually calm and controlled environment of the flagship was now filled with tension and urgency. Reaching the evacuation area, Zathel found Admiral Smith already there, speaking to his officers through a communication device. Smith's face was serious, but he maintained a calm demeanor. "Admiral," Zathel called out, catching Smith's attention. "What is going on?" Smith turned to him, his expression grave. "We've detected an unidentified ship entering our sector. It's not responding to hails and is approaching rapidly. We're treating it as a potential threat until we can identify it." Zathel's eyes widened. The situation was becoming more serious by the second. "What are your plans?" Smith's gaze was focused on the holotable displaying the ship's trajectory. "We're preparing for possible engagement. We need to be ready for any scenario. I need to coordinate with our fleet and ensure everything is in place." Zathel nodded, trying to keep his own panic in check. The crew around him was moving quickly, performing their tasks with precision. The professionalism of the human officers was reassuring, but the uncertainty of the situation weighed heavily on everyone. The alarm continued to wail, and the lights flickered in rhythm with the emergency signals. Zathel could feel the ship's engines rumbling beneath his feet as it prepared for any potential conflict. He glanced at Smith, who was now giving orders to his officers with calm authority. Suddenly, the emergency alarm stopped. The red lights turned off, and the ship's lighting returned to normal. The sudden change made Zathel's heart pound even harder. "What's happening now?" Zathel asked urgently. Smith's eyes were fixed on the holotable. "We've just received a transmission from the unidentified ship. They're requesting permission to dock. It seems they were experiencing technical difficulties and accidentally entered our sector." Zathel felt a wave of relief wash over him. The tension in the room eased slightly, but there was still a palpable sense of caution. "What will you do?" Smith took a deep breath. "We'll allow them to dock, but we'll keep a close watch on them. It's important to be cautious, especially in situations like this. Our security teams will be on high alert." The crew moved swiftly to prepare for the docking procedure. Zathel followed Smith to the observation deck, where he could see the unidentified ship approaching. It was a small, sleek vessel, with markings that Zathel did not recognize. As the ship docked, a team of human officers prepared to greet the visitors. Zathel watched as the airlock opened, revealing a group of aliens emerging from the vessel. They looked disheveled and tired, their clothing stained and their faces showing signs of stress. Smith approached the newcomers with a polite but firm demeanor. "Welcome aboard. I'm Admiral Smith. Can you explain the situation?" One of the aliens, a tall figure with blue skin and a worried expression, stepped forward. "We apologize for the intrusion. Our ship experienced a critical malfunction. We were unable to communicate or correct our course. We're grateful for your assistance." Smith nodded, his expression softening slightly. "We understand. Our priority is to ensure everyone's safety. Please follow our security protocols while we assess the situation." The alien nodded gratefully and followed the officers to a secure area. Zephyr watched the scene unfold, still feeling the aftereffects of the earlier panic. He realized how quickly a situation could change and how important it was to remain calm and prepared. As the security teams worked to inspect the alien vessel and ensure it posed no threat, Admiral Smith turned to Zephyr. "Thank you for your patience, Ambassador. Situations like these remind us of the importance of readiness and vigilance." Zephyr nodded, still processing the events. "I see that your crew handled the situation with great skill and efficiency. It's reassuring to know that you are prepared for any scenario." Smith smiled, though his eyes still held a trace of seriousness. "We do our best. The galaxy can be unpredictable, but we are committed to maintaining peace and security." As the situation began to return to normal, Zephyr felt a sense of relief. The human fleet had proven its capability once again, not just through its power, but through its ability to handle unexpected crises with professionalism and care. Zephyr knew that this experience had shown him another side of humanity. They were not only strong and capable, but also resilient and ready to face any challenge. It was a lesson he would carry with him as he continued his journey among the stars. With the emergency resolved, Zephyr took a deep breath and prepared to continue his mission. The galaxy was vast and full of surprises, but with allies like the humans, he felt a renewed sense of hope for the future. Understanding humanity. Ambassador Zephyr sat in the quiet of the U.S. Invincible's conference room, reflecting on the past few days. The recent emergency had been resolved, and he had witnessed both the strength and the calm efficiency of the human crew. Now, he was about to meet Admiral Smith for a final discussion, hoping to gain deeper insights into the humans he had come to respect. The door slid open, and Admiral Smith walked in, a warm smile on his face. "Ambassador Zephyr, thank you for joining me. I hope you're feeling more at ease now." Zephyr nodded. "Yes, Admiral, I am. The recent events have given me much to think about. I wanted to understand more about humanity and what drives them." Smith took a seat across from Zephyr, leaning forward slightly. "I'm glad to hear that. What would you like to know?" Zephyr thought for a moment. "I've seen how capable and prepared humans are. But what motivates them? What are their core values?" Smith's smile grew thoughtful. "That's a good question. Humans are driven by a range of values, but some of the most important ones are resilience, curiosity, and compassion. They have a deep desire to explore, to learn, and to help others." Zephyr listened intently. Resilience, curiosity, and compassion. How do these values influence their behavior and decisions? Smith nodded. "Well, resilience is key to their survival and success. Humans face challenges head-on and adapt to overcome obstacles. This resilience is what allows them to thrive in difficult situations, whether in battle or in peace." He paused, letting Zephyr absorb this. Curiosity drives them to explore new frontiers, to seek knowledge, and to push the boundaries of what's possible. This has led to many of their technological advancements and their desire to connect with other species. Zephyr nodded, beginning to understand. "And compassion." Smith's eyes softened. Compassion is perhaps one of the most defining aspects of humanity. They care deeply for each other and for those they consider part of their community. This compassion extends to their actions and their decisions, influencing them to seek solutions that benefit not just themselves, but others as well. Zathel considered Smith's words. He had seen evidence of these values in his interactions with the crew and in the way the humans handled the recent crisis. I have noticed their sense of duty and their willingness to help others. It seems to be a core part of their identity. Smith nodded. Exactly. Humans often feel a strong sense of responsibility, not just for their own people, but for the broader community. This is why they work hard to maintain peace, to assist those in need, and to protect their allies. Zathel leaned back in his chair, reflecting on the depth of Smith's explanations. It's clear now that humanity is driven by a complex set of values that shape their actions and their interactions with others. I can see why they are such respected members of the galactic community. Smith smiled warmly. I'm glad you think so. Understanding these values helps to see the bigger picture. Humans are not just powerful, they are also deeply motivated by principles that guide their behavior. As the conversation continued, Smith shared stories about human history and achievements that illustrated their resilience, curiosity, and compassion. Zathel was fascinated by the depth of human experience and the ways in which their values had shaped their development. He learned about the human spirit of exploration that had led to their expansion across the galaxy, and about their efforts to forge alliances and foster cooperation with other species. He heard stories of human bravery in the face of danger and their commitment to justice and fairness. By the end of their discussion, Zathel felt a profound respect for humanity. He understood that their strengths went beyond mere military might. They were deeply rooted in their values and their drive to make a positive impact on the galaxy. I appreciate your insights, Admiral, Zathel said sincerely. This has been an enlightening experience. I now have a better understanding of what makes humans unique and why they are such valued partners in the galactic community. Smith extended his hand, a gesture of friendship. It's been a pleasure, Ambassador. We value our relationships with other species and are always happy to share more about ourselves. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask. Zathel shook Smith's hand, feeling a sense of camaraderie. Thank you, Admiral. I look forward to furthering our understanding and cooperation. As Zathel left the U.S. invincible, he felt a renewed sense of hope and optimism. The humans had shown him not only their strength, but also their heart. With this newfound understanding, he was eager to see how the future would unfold, knowing that humanity would play a crucial role in shaping it. The stars outside seemed brighter, and the galaxy felt a little smaller. Zathel knew that with allies like the humans, there was a chance for a more connected and peaceful universe. A new alliance. Ambassador Zathel stood on the bridge of the U.S. Invincible, gazing out at the expanse of stars that filled the viewports. The ship was in orbit around a neutral space station where representatives from various species had gathered for a historic event. Today was the day that would mark the beginning of a new alliance, and Zathel felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. Admiral Smith approached, a confident smile on his face. Ambassador Zathel, are you ready for the signing ceremony? Zathel turned to Smith, nodding. Yes, Admiral. I am ready. It is a significant moment for all of us. Smith's expression was one of approval. Good. This alliance will strengthen our bonds and promote greater cooperation across the galaxy. It's a step toward a more united future. The two walked together to the ceremony hall, where representatives from various species were already gathering. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as delegates took their seats, each one eager to witness the historic event. Zathel took his place at the front, alongside Admiral Smith and leaders from other member species. The hall was decorated with flags and symbols representing the diverse cultures and civilizations that were coming together. The unity of purpose was palpable, and Zathel could see the hope in the eyes of those around him. The ceremony began with a speech from the neutral space station's representative, a wise and respected elder from a species known for their diplomatic skills. The representative spoke about the importance of unity and the benefits of collaboration, emphasizing the shared goals and mutual respect that had led to this moment. Today, the representative said, "We are forging a new path forward. We are coming together not as separate species, but as partners in a grand endeavor to ensure peace, prosperity, and progress for all." The crowd responded with enthusiastic applause, and Zatho felt a surge of pride. The words resonated deeply with him, reflecting the values that had guided the negotiations leading up to this day. Admiral Smith took the stage next, his presence commanding attention. This alliance represents a new era of cooperation. Our shared experiences and mutual respect have brought us to this point, and it is now our responsibility to build on this foundation. Together, we can achieve great things. The delegates listened intently, their expressions reflecting a mixture of hope and determination. Zatho could see that the humans had a unique way of inspiring confidence and commitment. Their dedication to the alliance was evident in their words and actions. Finally, it was time for the signing of the official documents. Each representative took their turn, adding their signature to the treaty that would formalize the alliance. Zatho approached the podium, his heart racing with the significance of the moment. He signed his name with careful strokes, feeling a deep sense of responsibility. This was not just a piece of paper. It was a promise of cooperation, a commitment to work together for the greater good. As the last signature was added, the representative declared, "The alliance is now official. Let us celebrate this achievement and look forward to a future of collaboration and shared success." The hall erupted in applause, and Zatho joined in, feeling a sense of unity with those around him. The excitement was contagious, and he could see the genuine enthusiasm of the delegates for the new partnership. After the ceremony, there was a reception where delegates mingled and celebrated. Zatho found himself engaging in conversations with representatives from various species, discussing plans for future cooperation and sharing ideas for joint projects. One of the most memorable conversations was with a leader from a distant star system. They discussed ways to enhance trade and cultural exchange, envisioning a future where their peoples could learn from each other and benefit from their combined strengths. Admiral Smith joined Zatho, and they shared a moment of reflection. "I think today went very well," Smith said, his tone filled with satisfaction. "This alliance has the potential to create real change. We've made a strong start." Zatho nodded in agreement. "Yes, Admiral. The sense of unity and purpose is inspiring. I believe this alliance will lead to positive outcomes for all involved." As the reception continued, Zatho felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The alliance was more than just a formal agreement. It was a testament to the power of cooperation and mutual respect. He could see the potential for growth and progress, and he was excited about the future. As the evening drew to a close, Zatho stood on the observation deck of the space station, looking out at the stars. The galaxy seemed full of possibilities, and he felt optimistic about the future. The new alliance was a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the vastness of space, cooperation and understanding could bring diverse species together. Zatho knew that the journey ahead would be challenging, but with partners like the humans and the other members of the alliance, he was confident that they could achieve great things. With a final glance at the stars, Zatho turned to leave, ready to embrace the future with renewed enthusiasm. The galaxy was indeed a vast and wondrous place, and with this new alliance, it felt more connected and promising than ever before. The future of the galaxy. The months following the historic alliance had been busy for Ambassador Zatho. As he reviewed the latest reports on the U.S. Invincible, he could see the positive effects of the new alliance taking shape. Trade routes were opening, cultural exchanges were flourishing, and joint projects were making significant progress. Admiral Smith joined Zatho in the ship's command center. "Ambassador, it's impressive to see how quickly things are moving forward. The alliance seems to be making a real impact." Zathor looked up from the data screen, a satisfied smile on his face. Yes, Admiral. The cooperation between our species is growing stronger every day. I've received reports of increased trade and successful joint missions. Smith nodded. That's great news. We've also seen improvements in diplomatic relations and increased scientific collaboration. The potential for this alliance is enormous. Zathor agreed, feeling a sense of optimism about the future. Indeed, the possibilities seem endless. With our combined strengths, we can address challenges that were previously too great for any one species to tackle alone. The two discussed various projects that were underway. One of the most promising was a joint research initiative aimed at developing new technologies to improve energy efficiency and environmental sustainability. Scientists from different species were working together, sharing knowledge and expertise. There's also a significant push for cultural exchanges, Smith added. By learning about each other's customs and traditions, we're building deeper connections and fostering mutual respect. Zathor appreciated this aspect of the alliance. Cultural understanding is crucial. It helps us avoid misunderstandings and build stronger relationships. I've seen firsthand how these exchanges are creating bonds between our people. As they talked, the ship's communications officer interrupted with an urgent message. Admiral Smith, Ambassador Zathor, we have an incoming transmission from the Galactic Council. They wish to discuss the latest developments. Smith looked at Zathor with a raised eyebrow. The Galactic Council. This could be significant. Zathor nodded, his curiosity piqued. Let's take the call. Moments later, the screen in the command center flickered to life, displaying the holographic image of the Council's spokesperson. The spokesperson's expression was serious, yet hopeful. Greetings, Admiral Smith and Ambassador Zathor, the spokesperson began. We have been closely monitoring the progress of your alliance. It is clear that the collaboration is bringing positive change to the galaxy. Smith responded. Thank you. We're very pleased with the results so far. The alliance is proving to be beneficial for all parties involved. The spokesperson nodded. Indeed. In light of the success of your alliance, the Galactic Council would like to propose a new initiative. We believe that expanding this model of cooperation could address some of the galaxy's most pressing issues. Zathor's interest was piqued. What kind of initiative are you proposing? The spokesperson continued. We suggest creating a galactic task force dedicated to addressing large-scale challenges, such as environmental threats, resource distribution, and interspecies conflicts. This task force would be composed of representatives from the Alliance and other interested species. Smith leaned forward, intrigued. A task force focused on global challenges. That sounds like a promising idea. Zathor agreed. It could be an excellent way to extend the benefits of the Alliance to broader issues. By pooling our resources and expertise, we could make significant strides in solving complex problems. The spokesperson smiled. Exactly. The Galactic Council is prepared to support this initiative and facilitate the formation of the task force. We believe that with the collaborative spirit of your alliance, this task force could make a substantial impact. Smith and Zathor exchanged looks of approval. We're on board with this proposal, Smith said. Let's work together to make it a reality. The spokesperson's image flickered as they concluded the call. Thank you. We will follow up with more details soon. We look forward to seeing the results of this new initiative. As the screen went dark, Smith and Zathor continued their discussion. This task force could be a game changer, Smith said. It would not only address immediate issues, but also strengthen the bonds between our species even further. Zathor nodded. I agree. It's an exciting opportunity. By tackling these challenges together, we can demonstrate the true potential of our alliance and inspire others to join in. The two continued to plan and strategize, working on how best to implement the new initiative. They considered potential members of the task force, areas of focus, and ways to ensure effective collaboration. As they wrapped up their meeting, Zathel felt a renewed sense of purpose. The future of the galaxy seemed brighter than ever. The Alliance had already achieved so much, and now they had the chance to make an even greater impact. Walking through the corridors of the US Invincible, Zathel gazed out at the stars, feeling a profound sense of hope. The Alliance had opened new doors, and the future was full of possibilities. With the task force on the horizon, he was confident that they could address the galaxy's most pressing challenges and build a more united and prosperous future. The stars seemed to shine more brightly, reflecting the optimism and excitement that Zathel felt. As he looked out into the vast expanse, he knew that the journey ahead would be challenging, but it was a journey worth taking. With allies by his side and a shared vision for a better future, Zathel was ready to embrace the adventures and opportunities that lay ahead.